You are about to embark on an adventure into one of the more remote places in Utah, the Kaiparowits Plateau, which is inside the Grand Staircase-Escalante National Monument. Since the 1990s, exciting discoveries have been made here of fossilized animal remains that once lived in the late Cretaceous period, which is the period that occurred after the Jurassic period. These fossils are found in rock layers and sediments laid down 70 to 82 million years ago. This area is full of paleontological treasures, the majority of which have yet to be discovered. To put things in perspective, both historically and geographically, here's a timescale of when various layers, formations, and rock units were formed in the Grand Staircase. This timescale covers just over 250 million years, or, geographically, from the rim of the Grand Canyon to the top of Bryce Canyon. To get your bearings, here are the Jurassic and Triassic periods, including the Chinle Formation made famous by Petrified Forest National Park and the Paria town site, and here is the Navajo Sandstone Layer, made famous by Zion National Park's towering red and white cliffs and rock formations. As mentioned, our tour takes us through the Kaiparowits Plateau, which was laid down in this part of the timescale. Some of what we'll be driving through is a formation of the plateau's namesake, the Kaiparowits Formation. For those geology nerds out there, our trip also passes through Entrada Sandstone, Iron Springs, Straight Cliffs, and Wahweap formations, many of which are subgroups of the more widespread Dakota Formation. Any further explanation of the geology involved here goes beyond the scope of this video and requires someone with a little more experience in geology than me. Also, to give you a geographical perspective, here's a rudimentary cross-section map of the Grand Staircase. Here's the bottom of the Grand Canyon, which is the bottom of the staircase, and roughly 80 miles to the north is Bryce Canyon National Park, the top of the staircase. The Kaiparowits Formation is located here, pointed out as the Gray Cliffs. Along with preserving many other places in this area, as well as the discovery of rich fossil deposits here, was part of the reason for forming a large national monument in 1996, which would become the Grand Staircase-Escalante National Monument. Another reason for the National Monument designation was to preserve the area from being damaged by any future mining activities. There are large coal seams found throughout the Kaiparowits Plateau, such as these seen here. Due to politics involved during its formation, along with local resentment for such a large federal land grab, Grand Staircase-Escalante was split up into 3 separate national monuments in 2017. One of those new monuments was called the Kaiparowits National Monument, whose mission was to continue preserving this valued, localized region that is so important to the research of paleontology. In 2021, a change in the political balance restored the Grand Staircase-Escalante's original boundaries. Unfortunately, this land and the boundaries involved in the overall monument will continue to be disputed as the political ping-pong match goes on. The only certainty is the Kaiparowits Plateau will continue to have some level of federal protection. All right, enough of the history and on to our touring route, which will be a loop beginning and ending in the town of Escalante. Here's a summary of the route. More turn-by-turn details will be given during the tour. Before taking this tour, make sure your four-wheel drive high-clearance vehicle is up to the task and that you top off your fuel tank in Escalante. Our tour runs through some very remote country where people seldom visit, and the road is very rough in spots. There is no cell phone service out here either, so you might also consider traveling with one or more other vehicles in case someone needs help. We also recommend visiting the National Monument Visitor Center here to check on road conditions. And, of course, there are no towns along the way, so bring plenty of water and food to snack on. Give yourself an entire day to enjoy this tour and to explore the stops along the way. We leave Escalante, heading east on Highway 12. At 4.5 miles from town, we turn right onto Hole-in-the-Rock Road. On the right, you'll see this panorama of what's called the Straight Cliffs, also referred to as 50-Mile Bench. Can you guess how long these cliffs are? Yes, they stretch 40 to 50 miles from Escalante to Lake Powell, and they are very straight. We'll continue on Hole-in-the-Rock Road, which is a popular dirt road, so expect to hit patches of irritating, jaw-rattling washboard. At just over 12 miles, we'll make a stop at Devil's Garden and marvel at Mother Nature's rock sculptures. We continue down the road for another 2 miles and turn right onto Left-Hand Collet Road. Our road surface mellows out for a while, but will soon become a rugged and rough canyon road. Left-Hand Collet Canyon can be seen straight ahead. It cuts deeply through the Kaiparowits Plateau and will give you a close-up look at those interesting sediment and rock layers being studied by paleontologists. The road also takes you past some very interesting scenery. Before entering the canyon, though, at 2.3 miles from Hole-in-the-Rock Road, turn right onto an unmarked road to visit the 20-mile wash Dinosaur track site. Here, in the Entrada Sandstone Formation, round footprints, about the size that an elephant would leave, can be found on the whitish-gray petrified sandstone. These tracks were left during the Jurassic period, not the Cretaceous. Continuing up Collet Canyon, the road becomes rough. Be sure to engage your four-wheel drive. Soon, the cliffs will close in around you on both sides. Here you'll see some different and unique rock formations, unlike other places in Utah. About 7.5 miles up the canyon from Hole-in-the-Rock, the road exits Collet Canyon and climbs up through a side canyon to the top of the Kaiparowits Plateau. Our route now joins up with a major north-south road that crosses the national monument called Smoky Mountain Road. Heading south on this road will take you all the way to Big Water and Highway 89 near Lake Powell. But we're going to keep bearing right to head north back to Escalante. Eventually, after crossing the tops of many canyons and drainages that cut into the Kaiparowits Plateau and straight cliffs, we start dropping down into the beautiful wide canyon formed by Alvey Wash. The drive down this canyon is beautiful. The road in this portion is very easy. A normal sedan can probably drive it. Between climbing out of Collet Canyon and dropping down into Alvey Wash, it's fun to think about how many fossils, skeletons, and other hidden treasures may be lying just below the surface of the landscapes we just passed by. Soon, we're back in the town of Escalante. From beginning to end, this tour route is about 64 miles round trip. Now that you've seen our tour route on a map, we're going to use Google Earth to get a three-dimensional look at some of the pretty wild topology and terrain that our route takes us through. Grand Staircase-Escalante National Monument is located in south-central Utah. Here's Lake Powell, Page, Arizona, Bryce Canyon National Park, and the small town of Escalante, where our trip starts and ends. And here is roughly our touring route that passes through, then on top of, the Kaiparowits Plateau. With this view, you can see how long and straight these straight cliffs really are, stretching from Escalante to Lake Powell. The area on the left or west side of the cliffs is the large region of the Kaiparowits Plateau. Now, let's follow those straight cliffs back north up to the town of Escalante to start our tour. So here is that small town of Escalante. We head east out of town using Highway 12, then turn off here onto Hole in the Rock Road, which is where we see this panorama of the straight cliffs we saw earlier. Then we'll travel just over 12 miles down the bumpy dirt road to make our first stop here at Devil's Garden. We then head back down Hole in the Rock Road a few miles and turn right onto Left-Hand Collet Road. Ahead, here, we see the opening of Left-Hand Collet Canyon. Heading up the road a little ways, on the right is the road to the Dinosaur trackway. Park over here, then hike up in this area here, where you'll find the tracks and footprints if you look carefully. Now it's time to head up into the canyon. Hopefully the road is in good condition for you. It was for us the 2 times we drove through this stretch. The road sits in the canyon's drainage, so it can easily be washed out after any significant rainstorm though. Here is where the road turns left out of the main canyon and climbs to the top of the plateau. We'll then hook up with Smoky Mountain Road, which is BLM Road 300, and begin heading north back to Escalante. Road 300 passes by the top end of many canyons that drain and cut deep into the Kaiparowits. Over here is where we begin dropping down into the wide drainage of Alvey Wash. As we drive further down Alvey Wash, the canyon walls rise above us once again, making yet another scenic canyon drive. And from here, it's not too far of a ride back into the town of Escalante, which is where we started. All right, let's get started. If you'd like to learn more about this trip, including more information on both Kaiparowits Plateau paleontology and the 20-mile Wash Dinosaur track site, visit our website at backroadswest.com. Visit our blog and search for Kaiparowits. While on our website, check out our other travel tools, as well as the beautiful images of this and other gorgeous areas that are available for sale on our snapshotswest.com website. We're going to start showing you the tour just after turning off from Highway 12. It's here where you'll see that long panorama of the straight cliffs. You'll see them continuously until you start climbing up through Collet Canyon. As mentioned, our first stop will be at Devil's Garden, so sit back and enjoy our tour of the great scenery along the way. And, as always, we bid you happy exploring.